Welcome to the Institute of Conceptual Research. This is the Meaning Making Series, Lesson 3. How meaning forms in the brain. In this lecture, we're going to understand meaning at its root, not as an idea, not as an aesthetic, but as a cognitive event. Meaning is something your mind builds. And when you understand how your mind builds it, your design process becomes clearer, deeper, and far more intentional. Let's begin. Meaning does not appear out of nowhere. It isn't intuitive, and it isn't aesthetic. Meaning is constructed. It forms through internal pathways, through memory, emotion, and association. Your brain takes what you perceive and turns it into significance. This is the foundation of conceptual design. Meaning forms through a sequence, and once you see this sequence, you'll recognize it in every project you make. First, perception. I see something. Second, recognition. I know what this is. Third, interpretation. This reminds me of something. Fourth, significance. This matters because. Meaning is the pattern that forms across these steps. Inside the brain, meaning travels through pathways. Your past experiences, your internal models, your emotional memory, your pattern recognition. These pathways shape everything you notice and everything you ignore. Meaning is not visual, it is neurological. Memory is the first filter of meaning. Your mind builds significance by comparing the present to everything you've lived before. This is why two designers can look at the same image and see completely different things. Meaning is personal before it becomes conceptual. Emotion amplifies meaning. Whenever something resonates emotionally, when it triggers a feeling, or mirrors an internal state, or reminds you of something unresolved, your brain marks it as important. Emotion doesn't weaken meaning, it strengthens it. It tells the mind, this is worth holding on to. Associative thinking is where meaning expands. Burnt paper might trigger thoughts of heat, damage, interruption, fragility, transformation. Your mind builds chains of meaning by connecting one idea to another. These chains are not random. They are your conceptual language. Meaning is not a detail. It is not a mood. Meaning is a pattern your brain repeats. When you understand your patterns, you understand your design identity. What you return to, what you resist, what you feel drawn to, these patterns form the structure of your creative mind. Let's examine this. When you see burnt paper, your brain recognizes the burn, associates it with damage, connects damage to memory, links memory to interruption, feels emotional resonance, assigns significance. Meaning is not the object. Meaning is the pathway your mind travels. That pathway is the concept. Most students struggle with meaning because they treat it as a concept instead of a cognitive process. Meaning is not a choice you make. It is something your mind produces. Your job as a designer is to understand the production system. Ask yourself, what emotions repeat in my work? What metaphors return again and again? What materials feel familiar? What tensions show up repeatedly? These repetitions aren't coincidences. They are your internal architecture speaking through your practice. Meaning is not external. It is internal and patterned. When you understand how your mind forms meaning, your work becomes sharper, more intentional, and more authentically your own. Now here's a small exercise you can start with. Choose any object you feel drawn to. It doesn't matter what it is. Pick something in your room. Ask yourself these questions and write down your answers. What memory does this activate? What emotion does it trigger? What associations appear first? What significance does my mind assign? What pattern is it repeating? This exercise will expose your cognitive architecture. For downloads, worksheets, and the full cognitive framework, visit the ICR Open Learning platform.